My friend is always jealous of my romantic relationships. It ruined our friendship.
We don't have to do everything together.
Jealousy do be doing that.
Yeah.
This is my first time posting one of these, so I don't really know where to start, so please bear with me. For background information, this individual and I were friends from the ages of 13 and 15. She had just turned 15, I was about to turn 14, and ended our relationship right before I turned 17. We had met at a youth group in my area when I was 12, and I always thought she was cool. By the way, this comes from user NeatImprovement269, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK storytime subreddit and submit them there. So, she was funny and invited me into her already established friend group of about 5 people, including herself. She and I were homeschooled, but I went to a group co-op and graduated high school early and did early college. This girl and I clicked from the beginning, but we didn't become friends right away because I started dating someone in that group that she hated. We'll call him Duke. Duke and I were together for a little over a year, and for us being so young, it was the most toxic relationship I've ever been in. He would tell me that certain people were toxic so that he could have me all to himself. You're all mine, little kitten. Looking back on it now, I realize why she hated him. Nevertheless, he left me shattered in a million pieces with no one to comfort me besides my parents as I shared his friend group. Going to youth group was obviously hard as Duke was there and the drama spread like wildfire. I was left alone the majority of the night and no one wanted to sit by me because I'd become the depicted crazy ex-girlfriend. Nearing the end of that night, my ex-best friend, Ashley, came up to me to comfort me. I looked at her with tears in my eyes, so she took me to sit in her car where I started bawling to her about my ex-boyfriend situation. From then on, we were besties. We would constantly be at each other's houses and spend the night a lot, and her mom even tutored me in one of my classes as I struggled.
Oh, nice.
The struggle is real. The first 2 years of our friendship were great, but then she started getting weird. She came out to me, which I was like, that's fine. Hey, you do you, boo. But I felt like the best friend things weren't best friend things anymore. Sharing food, holding hands, sometimes in public, sleepovers, cuddles, etc. were starting not to feel like they did before. It felt as if Ashley was putting more meaning behind it. I had made it clear to her that I was and still am straight, and even though she said she knew, it felt like she was hoping I would change my mind or something. I ignored it for a while and slowly started setting silent boundaries, no more sleepovers, cuddling, or hand-holding as I started to become uncomfortable with her behavior. But her and my relationship were still tight. We continued to hang out at each other's house and hang out elsewhere until late at night. One of those nights, while we were hanging out, she had asked if I would ever abandon her and leave her for someone else. I then replied, no way, you're my bestie. But as we get older, I will have more responsibilities and might not be able to hang out with you as much as we do now. She stayed silent and didn't ask me again for a while. I mean, like, that's real though. Like on a real level, it's like you can be 16, you can be 17 and be like, are you gonna be my bestie forever? And then you can be like, yeah, we're gonna be besties for life. But it's like,
but the girlfriend,
it's hard.
Like Ashley was looking for more than that. She was like, or do you see me any way, shape, or form more than this?
Yeah.
Because Ashley has a crush on OP.
Point being is like, even if you do want to be best friends with someone forever, it's like life gets in the way a lot of times. And then also people can change. I had a friend who changed and we don't talk anymore. Fast forward a few months, there was a dance my ex co-op was hosting that was coming up. I had asked Ashley if she wanted to be my date, so to speak, as I didn't have that many friends and didn't want to show up alone. She's not the party type, but I thought I would ask because she was my best friend. And I thought it was rude not to invite her. Ashley actually declined, but I had already bought my ticket, so I was going anyway. About a week after I bought the ticket, the dance was now a few weeks out, and I reconnected with a friend, Jamal, from the co-op I graduated from several months prior. We reconnected on social media and started DMing back and forth a lot. To be clear, I had a crush on him when we were at school together, but I never did anything because I was with Duke then and decided to be loyal. Ashley noticed I was on my phone texting a lot when we were hanging out and jokingly snatched my phone, asking who I was talking to, and started reading the messages. Yeah, so that's not a joke if she just actually snatches your phone and reads your texts. That's like not a prank. That's not a joke. She did that.
Dude, that was a 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
I love that.
So yeah, she just started reading my messages, which is, again, not a joke. I asked her to return my phone and explained that it was just an old friend who had reached out. She asked more about Jamal, so I gave her the information she wanted. She told me to be careful that she didn't want another Duke situation to happen to me. I thought it was sweet that she was looking out for me, but unfortunately, that was not the case. Coincidentally, Jamal and I were going to the same dance in a few weeks, so naturally I talked to Ashley more and more about him because I was excited and found out I really liked him. However, even though I liked Jamal, Ashley didn't at all. Even though I liked Jamal, Ashley did not like him at all. When I would bring him up, she would sigh or give me a dirty look. Would constantly make comments about, we don't need men, and all men are trash. Yeah, you go, girl. Now, I would say many men are trash, but not all.
Yep.
And definitely not Jamal.
That was good.
Dude,
that was good.
Got them all. I've got it in the bag
Also,
today, dude. Ashley refused to be happy for me in possibly finding a good guy like Jamal. She would say, they always turn on you. That's why I'm attracted to the same gender. Fast forward to the night of the dance. It was a winter formal, and I spent a few months making a dress for this dance. Ooh, talented. It was so pretty, but nothing crazy. I was getting ready on FaceTime with Ashley, and when I put the dress on and asked what she thought, she said, I mean, it's all right. Remember, she knew that I had worked hard to make said dress. I decided to do my makeup after putting the dress on. It was white, but put a robe on to ensure I didn't get makeup on it. While doing my makeup, Ashley commented, you should just wear the robe to the dance. You don't need to look good for people that don't matter, and things like that. I laughed it off and told her I had to go because I was meeting with a group to eat before we headed to the dance venue. I finally meet up at the restaurant with Jamal again after not seeing him for a long time. We clicked again, talked to each other for the time there, and generally spent the night at the dance together. We slow danced and talked and just had a great night. There was a time in one of our conversations nearing the end of the night when I didn't know if I would see him again. So I just rushed in with the question, do you like me? We talked for a while, realizing we had the same feelings for each other and became a couple that night.
Oh, wow.
Coming home excited, I told my parents and FaceTimed Ashley to give her all the details. I see you in the chat. She made it clear she was not that excited for me. She was really dry and said that she had to go to sleep because I have work in the morning. We shared schedules. She did not have work until mid-afternoon. A couple of weeks later on a call, I was updating her on some fun things in Jamal and I's new relationship when she cut me off and said something that caught me off guard. I don't want you to talk to me about Jamal anymore. I'm sorry. He's literally all you talk about. Like, I'm sure there's something more interesting to talk about than a dumb guy. I'm sorry. I didn't know it made you so uncomfortable. I guess I'll cut it back a bit. Like, he's so ugly too. He's such a rat.
Bro, dudes do be looking like a rat.
Huh?
Some dudes do be looking like a rat. I could show you one right now.
What animal do I look like?
All right.
I
Here's one.
You realize that's you, right?
No! No!
I don't really appreciate that you're calling him ugly when you've never seen him in person. Well, he is ugly. I can tell from the picture, and how you're treating me is like you're with Duke all over again.
Oh my, stop comparing him to Duke. What?
And then she goes, you really need to know exactly who these people are before you make them your boy toy. And I go, okay, hang on. You've never met this man, so how can you say it's like Duke all over again? And I get we have very different ideas of what we find attractive, but the fact that you're calling Jamal ugly is not okay. And even if he was ugly, you keep that to yourself because he treats me right and I'm happy with him. Also, the fact that I can't talk to my best friend about my boyfriend that I'm happy with is crazy. I think we should put our friendship on pause until you're less bitter about Jamal and can be a good friend regardless of how you feel. Well, when all you talk about is Jamal, it gets really annoying. You always turn your relationships into your whole personality. You did it with Duke and I'm not better. I'm just annoyed and hurt by you flaunting him and shoving him in my face when I told you how I feel. I've done nothing but voice my concerns and you just ignore them. Well, I'm sorry you don't feel heard when this is the first time you've ever said anything about being uncomfortable with our relationship. And even if you did before, I've always considered what you say because your opinion has always been the most important. But when you pull things like this, I find it difficult to side with you. I think we should take a break from each other for a bit. You know how I feel about friendships. We're either friends or we're not. And you said you'd never abandon me. Abandonment is one person not knowing the other has left. But you, Ashley, know that I'm leaving.
Yo.
And by the way, you don't ever have to leave us because there are full episodes with stories like this one. All you have to do is go to your podcast platform of choice, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple Podcasts, whether it's YouTube, whether it's iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, just search OK Storytime and you will find 48 days, which is over 1,100 hours worth of content, of stories that you can listen to. We have not talked since that encounter. It's been about a year since all this went down, but I need an opinion. Am I the a-hole for ending a 3-year friendship over a guy? I would say no.
No.
Because honestly, like,
there are probably a lot more red flags.
it doesn't sound like a best friend forever type scenario.
Yeah.
And like you're about to graduate, your whole life is about to completely change forever. And a lot of the friendships that we have in that era of our lives do not always transfer over. So it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay.